For the scallop elastic, I've cut a piece of stretch 3x6 and a piece of scallop elastic 4.5 inches long, and I'm going to pin the elastic so that the scallop sits just beyond the stitching line, and I'm going to stretch it onto my fabric. So here it is stretched. I've pinned the two ends and then pinned in between, and it's sitting right next to my stitching line there. Now I'm going to set my machine to the widest zig I can and use a serpentine stitch to join the two together right on the edge of the elastic. The serpentine stitch is not actually a stretch stitch, so you need to set the stitch length quite short so that you get as much thread as possible going so that the stitches don't pop. So here it is stitched. Now if I trim away everything beyond my stitching line, I'll just have this cute little scallop poking over the edge. The double needle top stitch is best in a situation where there's no tension, like the hem of a sleeve or a shirt. For this sample, I've prepared by serging the long edge of my 3x6 inch piece of stretch, thread marking a line 3/4 of an inch from the edge, and basting my hem up. Now I'm going to put a double needle on my machine. They come almost any configuration. The number here, 4.0 millimeters, is a reference to the distance between the two needles, and they come universal, embroidery, stretch, pretty much anything you can imagine. I'm going to put the 2.5 millimeter stretch twin needle in my machine. So here's my machine set up with a twin needle. I've got two spools of thread. I chose different colors so you could see what was happening. Run through together, through the back, the take-up lever. Then when I get to the needle here, one thread goes through one needle and the other through the other. The bobbin is just the same as always, a regular bobbin. Make sure your machine is not set for a zigzag. You need to have this width on 0, and the length can be 2.5, 3. From the face side, stitch right on top of the edge of the seam allowance underneath. So here you can see the finished stitch. There's the blue thread top stitching. There's the white thread top stitching. And on the reverse, the white thread is my bobbin, and it makes a zigzag, which is why it works for a stretch fabric.